Hello everyone! I am so sorry that it's been so long since I've last recorded. My laptop kind of, bit the dust. Yeah, and I don't have enough money to pay for a new one. So, I'm just gonna be recording videos on my phone for now. For a while, I've been wanting to read this Hetalia fanfiction that I've never read before, so I'm gonna be going in completely blind. It's kind of popular. It's called the Danish Slaughterhouse. I've honestly not heard much about it, besides some people complaining about how Denmark's character got butchered in it, no pun intended. So, I don't know what to expect coming in here, but seeing how there's trigger warnings for rape and murder, I'm probably gonna have to age restrict my videos reading it. So, for now, I'm just gonna be reading the prologue and seeing where it goes. So, let's get started. Alright, prologue. Darkness engulfed the majority of the compact bedroom, with the only disturbance coming from the streak of light from the doorway as a tall, looming male figure stepped inside, disappearing as the man closed the door behind himself. Remembering every item's place in the room, he was able to move around the queen-sized bed and the small trunk at its end, grab the remote control from atop the bed, and pull out the chair from the desk to lower himself onto the wooden seat without the use of the ceiling's light. The man pressed the remote control's power button to turn on the flat-screen television to have some background noise to work to. Flipping the little desk lamp switch, switch to illuminate the desk. The man opened a drawer and shifted through its contents and pulled out a housing magazine. The man placed the magazine filled with slips of scribbled on sticky notes jumping out of the page on the table and flipped through it until he almost reached its middle pages. The specific pages displayed a photo of a beautiful mansion among forest trees, as well as provided a table of information for it, such as the space measurement, the amount of rooms, and of course the listing price. It was the same mansion that he visited that day to see for himself, and with a few calls to his boss and his accountant, it was the mansion he was going to snatch up immediately. It was too perfect to be passed up, especially for a man who felt too confined in his small apartment. The apartment would not do for his future plans. It was just too small and too populated. He had to move as soon as humanly possible, and this mansion was the godsend of all godsends. Tiredly pushing up the few strands of dirt blonde hair that flopped down from the rest of the gravity-defying locks, the man grabbed a black marker and drew quick, sloppy circles around the mansion in the picture. He took out a bottle of beer, twisted the cap off, and leant back in his chair, lifting the bottle up in the air and watching the television's soft blue light silhouette against the bottle's shape. "Let the games begin," he murmured with a celebratory smirk as he guzzled down the liquid delicacy. Okay, I'm just gonna read chapter 1, even though it's really long. Okay. "I can't wait to see this for myself," Tino chimed giddily, the only one of the group bouncing excitedly in his seat. "Yes, love, we know," Burwold replied, a bit of amusement hidden in his usual monotone drawl. The 4 Nordic nations and Peter were clustered together in Copenhagen Airport's terminal, waiting for their scheduled ride after a long and tiring flight in which Tino wouldn't shut up about the day ahead. Burwold wouldn't stop staring at Tino as if he was really interested in Tino's chatter instead of the nudity under his clothes. Okay. This is gonna be kind of awkward for me, because I'm not actually that big of a shipper when it comes to Sufin and Denor, and I think there's supposed to be pairings, and those are the main pairings in there, so... Okay. Peter wouldn't stop whining about the airplane's lack of milkshakes and kicking the seat in front of him, and ML wouldn't stop blasting that damn rock music in his ears for 2 seconds to keep up a conversation with Lucas. Okay, ML's would probably be me, to be honest. Let alone address him respectfully as Big Brother. Now they sat on the cold plastic benches surrounded by the bustle of Danish civilians rushing to their destinations or flight, reconnecting with family and friends, or sitting around for their rides as well. The group had nothing to do except for ML, who still had his earbuds jammed into his ears and was now bobbing his head and playing an air guitar, and Tino, who just had so much to talk about. And why were they exactly in the Wintry Airport's building waiting for a ride that was 2 hours late and counting, with Tino and Beryl's brat napping on Lucas's shoulder as if they were close friends, which couldn't be any further from the truth? All because the stupid Dane sent them a text message. Lucas fished his cell phone out of his pocket, tapped on the screen a few times to get his messages, and reread it with an annoyed scowl. Lucas, Emil, Tino, Beryl, and the brat, I guess. You guys would not believe it, but I got me a mansion. It's new, bigger, and totally badass. It's incredible. You guys gotta come and see it. No, you will come and stay here. No's not an option. Love, Maddie. And there were about 50 more texts of the same matter, absolutely begging the Nordics to come over as quickly as possible. Lucas sighed loudly, shut off his phone, and slipped it back into his pants pocket. He pulled his knees up to his chest and hugged them, his toes hanging off the edge of the chair. I chose the perfect time to wear freaking skinny jeans, he silently scolded, shivering into his knees. Although he was used to cold climate after living in it for centuries, Lucas couldn't help his teeth chattering, his spine quivering in blood-freezing state that his body involuntarily came into. The worst thing about this was the fact that it was in the middle of spring in Denmark, and nothing's more confusing than having the body temperature drop during one of the warmer seasons after a long winter one. What Lucas wouldn't give to just lie in his warm, comfortable bed under the thick, warm quilt, drinking a piping hot mug of delicious warm coffee and just be warm. What a great way to start a vacation, Lucas muttered to himself sardonically. Oh, come on, Lucas, it isn't that bad, Tino assured him, interrupting his own stream of thoughts and smiling at Lucas. In case you haven't noticed, Tino, we're stuck in a freezing airport, freezing our asses off, waiting for an incompetent jerk who can't seem to tell time, and these stupid assholes can't seem to at least blast the stupid heat up for a couple of minutes so that their patrons won't become sitting icicles, Lucas ranted. Freezing? Lucas, it's spring, and it isn't cold in here, Tino stated, changing his puppy-like grin to a confused frown. What? Lucas looked at Tino and finally noticed that Tino wasn't shivering at all. In fact, none of the others were visibly shivering. He was the only one freezing to death. Lucas, are you okay? Beryl asked. Are you sick? No, I'm not sick, Lucas mumbled. He then sighed and added, it's strange though. I was feeling fine up until we set foot in Copenhagen. Then, I don't know. Well, look on the bright side. At least we're that closer to seeing Matthias's new mansion, and it's really nice for Matthias to let us stay there for our vacation, Tino interjected as his trademark kind smile returned to his face. Yeah, because nothing's more fantastic than being forced to spend your vacation days in the house of a raging lunatic, since the dumbass lunatic won't let you have a choice in the matter and would most likely drag you there himself. Lucas rolled his eyes and rubbed his arms to glean some heat. Aw, my little Norse, you know me so well. The other Nordics jumped in their seats at the voice, with Tino the only one giving a high-pitched shriek and Peter waking up from Lucas's movement. Emil was still blissfully unaware of the situation as he was lost in his own musical world. They looked over their shoulders, and there was the great Scandinavian king himself, wearing a huge goofy grin as he just heard one of the greatest jokes ever. As if he just... Okay. Oh, hi, Matthias, Tino greeted him. Sup, Tino? Matthias replied, walking up to the group to give Tino and Beryl a hug. Yo, Barry, how's it going? Everything's fine. Beryl choked out as his neck was tightened in Matthias' hug. And don't call me Barry. Is there any way that we can save the greetings and merriment for later? Because right now my balls are going to fall off from the lack of heat in here, Lucas said as he stood up. Lack of heat? Matthias repeated, the face in confusion. He tilted his head to the side. Lucas, man, I know my country gets cold a lot, but damn, it's not winter wonderland in here or something. So why would they turn up the heat? Besides, it kind of feels nice in here. Well, in any case, let's just go already. Lucas grabbed his suitcase and wheeled it away to the nearest exit. The others looked at each other in bemusement, shrugging and following suit. Beryl carrying the still groggy Peter over his shoulder. Tino grabbing Peter's suitcase and Matthias slapping Mel's shoulder to get his attention and get him moving. The group stepped outside and waited for Matthias to bring his ride up to them. When he drove up in the vehicle to where they stood, everyone except Beryl gaped in shock and then burst into a fit of sniggers. Matthias rolled down his window and stuck his head out. "What is it that is so funny to you guys?" "Matthias, a minivan?" Beryl said in disbelief, gesturing to the silver-painted minivan. "What's wrong with it, Barry?" "Beryl, and nothing's wrong if you're a soccer mom wannabe." "Hey, don't be making jokes at my expense. I had to get this piece of shit so your luggage can fit in one trip," Matthias whined. He then smirked. "Besides, it's the newest spacious 2014 model, if you haven't noticed. A gift from Ludwig himself." "Wow, look who's well ahead in the game," Gino said. "But I can't help but wonder why Ludwig would give you such a model in a way early time." Because we're brothers now, and he was cool enough to, hello, freezing nation over here. A freezing nation who'd like to get some warmth ASAP before I die and my people will be left with no land," Lucas interjected as he bounced on his toes. Fine. Matthias rolled his eyes and raised his window. He pressed a button under the steering wheel to unlock the trunk. The group hurriedly dumped their luggage into the trunk and shuffled into the car, with Tino securing the seatbelt over the sleep again, Peter's torso, and Beryl taking up the passenger seat at Matthias's whiny begging. It hasn't even been 5 minutes since Matthias started the departure from the airport when Luke was groaned through chattering teeth. "Matthias, turn the heat up already." "Norge, what's your problem?" Matthias said as he turned the dial to increase the heated air in the van. That was a question Lucas wanted to know for himself. It was all strange to him. He shouldn't be freezing at all as a Scandinavian country who was pretty much born with antifreeze in his blood, yet he's the only one feeling like he's trapped in an iceberg, enjoying spring of all seasons. He wasn't sick, he knew for sure. Otherwise, Tino's maternal instincts would have kicked in a long time ago, and Tino would have trapped Lucas in a cocoon of blankets and drowned him in all sorts of soups and medications. It still creeped Lucas out how Tino was able to sense when a Nordic or anyone else really is sick without any mention of it. And even the van's heat wasn't able to help seize the chill in his body. Lucas pulled his knees up to his chest and hugged them again, resting his cheek on a knee to look out the window. He watched the scenery pass by, trying to distract himself from his rapidly decreasing body temperature by taking in the succession of antiques, shops, bakeries, small houses, and chic apartments. "Hey, didn't you used to live in that apartment back there?" Lucas asked nonchalantly. "What? Oh yeah, I haven't even noticed," Matthias replied. He rolled down the window to lean out of it and waved to the apartment building, causing the car to swerve for a bit. "So long, sucker," he hollered. "Matthias, damn it, stop screwing around and roll up your damn window." Lucas kicked Matthias' armrest and shivered even harder after a gush of wind blew on him. He curled tighter into himself and ignored the heavy stares from the other Nordics, even Emil, who heard him shouting through his earbuds. Matthias sat back down in his seat as he laughed at Lucas. "Dude, you need to chill already." "In case you haven't noticed, I'm chill enough, thank you," Lucas spat. He then squinted his eyes and thought. "You were just using a stupid pun, weren't you?" "A little slow on the no, aren't we, my bro?" "Shut up. Immediately." The rest of the trip went by in silence, and soon Tino fell asleep in the back row of seats with his arms wrapped around Peter. In the seat next to Lucas, Emil's head bobbed lazily. Lucas gave a small smile as Emil's eyes finally fluttered shut and a light snore escaped his lips. Feeling giddy, Lucas gave in to growing temptation and reached over to Emil. He gently stroked Emil's cheek and tucked a lock of hair behind his ears, his grin widening when he noticed that Emil's cheeks flushed pink and his lips tugged into a small dreamy smile. Matthias coughed something as he watched Lucas in the rearview mirror. "What was that?" Lucas asked him. "Pedo," Matthias drawled out slowly and loudly. "Didn't I tell you to shut up?" Lucas snapped as he pulled away from Mel and curled up again. He went back to looking out of the window and noticed that the passing scenery became less buildings and businesses and more small houses and trees. Lots of trees. "Matthias, where is this mansion of yours exactly?" Just around the beginning of Copenhagen's forest, right in front of this beautiful large pond. I swear, Norge, you're gonna love it. You too, Barry." Burled. Whatever. Matthew's prediction was slightly true. It was true that Lucas and Beryl fell in love with the mansion and its surrounding areas, and it showed in their captivated yes as it came into view. The mansion was a 2-story pale yellow house built on a low rising hill and stretched back far into the forest, with a cottage theme designed to its structure. At the foot of the mansion's hill was a large, clear, sky-blue pond that reflected the sunlight in an amazing spectacle of diamond-like illumination. The pond was surrounded by an array of flowers, most of them Lucas recognized as morning glory, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this word. Mills, lilies, and impatiens. The dirt trail they drove on turned into a trail of mixed, smooth, multicolored pebbles as it shot parallel to the pond's side, and became a set of stairs as it climbed up the hillside to the mansion's doorstep. On the side of the mansion was a marble balcony, which, despite being made of a pale blue marble and of a French fashion, went perfectly well with the rest of the mansion. It was all mesmerizing. The problem was that as the landscape came into view, Lucas's body temperature dropped immensely. As Matthias rode along the trail and swerved the van into a park in the damp forest grass next to it, Lucas was wringing the blood out of his legs as he hugged them tighter and tighter. His whole body was a spastic mess, and he had to clamp his jaws shut so that his teeth wouldn't gnash into fine enamel powder. "Okay, everyone, we're here. Wake up now and get the hell out of this van," Lucas yelled jokingly over his shoulder. "Please don't be afraid to step on the grass as you get out, because he'll just die soon eventually." Soon anyway. Tino and Peter stirred awake from Matthias' booming voice and started to yawn and stretch. They slowly clambered out of the van and looked around the forest with sleepy eyes. When those eyes landed on Matthias' mansion, their eyes widened and shone with the same captivation that Lucas felt. "Holy crap, Uncle Matthias, it's so... wow!" Peter exclaimed. "Yes, Matthias, it's so beautiful and breathtaking. And my goodness," Tino breathed, placing a hand on his chest in astonishment. "You've definitely made a big move." "It's nice," Beryl simply stated. Matthias crossed his arms and smirked as he basked in the compliments. "See, I knew you guys would like it. What about you, Lucas and Emil?" He frowned when no reply came from the two. "Emil? Lucas?" He looked inside the van to find Emil still asleep in his ear. He smiled and shook his head. "Dude, get your ass up already." He snatched an earbud out of Emil's ear and was starting to hear an ear-splitting "I hate everything about you" blast from him. Emil stirred in his sleep and cracked open an eye to Matthias. "What are you doing?" He yawned as he rubbed his eyes. Matthias looked down at the earbud in his hand and back up at Emil. "I was waking you up because we're here." He looked back down at the earbud still vibrating in his palm, and with the singer still roaring his love-hate lyrics. "How can you sleep with this pounding in your ear?" Emil said as he snatched the earbud back. "I just do." He stepped out of the van and found himself captured by the beauty of the mansion, too. "Oh, my goodness," he gasped. His eyes glistened and what were almost tears. Matthias chuckled and went back to getting his last passenger, but when he looked at Lucas, his face fell into a concerned frown. "Lucas, hey, are you okay?" he asked as he reached for the silently trembling body. He reeled his hand back when Lucas's head shot up from his knees. "I'm fine," Lucas groaned through his gritted teeth. He fought the shivers running along his spine as he climbed out of the van and went straight to the trunk. "Can you unlock this damn thing, please?" Matthias reached for the steering wheel and pressed a button underneath it. The trunk popped open and Lucas lifted the door to drag out his suitcase and make his way to the stairs. Like at the airport, the others followed Lucas's actions and wheeled their luggage up the stairs behind him, while at the same time taking in the mansion's exterior. Lucas's body was slowing down with every step he took to the ebony double doors, as if his very limbs were actually freezing in place. It wasn't until he collapsed at the doorstep, his heart feeling as if it was filling up with icy water, that he allowed himself to consider that maybe there was something wrong with him. He was still awake, but his body wouldn't move, and his mind was dizzy, as if it were being tugged back and forth. He was fully aware of Matthias shouting his name and picking him up. Someone, most likely Tino, rushed up to take Matthias' key and open the doors for them all. Lucas was aware of that, even though it wasn't coming from his mind. His mouth was stuttering. You can't. You can't. It's not safe. It's not safe." Matthias stepped inside the house with Lucas panting and quivering heavily in his arms. In that instant, Lucas felt some strange phenomenon take place in his psyche. As Matthias stepped into the door. Some force pushed itself into Lucas's sense of fear, spinning it wildly, squeezing it tightly, and stretching it to its limits. He gasped deeply and clenched Matthew's shirt, and in the same time that his gasp ended, so did the mind-ravaging and surprisingly the cold. "Lucas, are you okay?" Tino asked him as everyone huddled around him, eyeing him warily. Lucas nodded, but felt something wrong with him. He should have been relieved that the body chills had ended and that the mansion's warmth had settled inside him. It calmed his tremors, but the emptiness and the chills place felt like abandonment, like the cold lost hope and gave up wrecking Lucas's body for Lucas's sake. It should have been a healing comfort, but it made him feel like the end was coming. Alright, that was the prologue in chapter 1 of the Danish Slaughterhouse. I'm so glad that you guys have listened to this, and I will see you guys next time when I read chapter 2 and possibly chapter 3. I'm not sure, but yeah, bye.